was October 6, 2006 was the first time I actually got struck by an IED. Everybody was on fentanyl, oxycodone, morphine pills. I started having points to where one wasn't enough. When I got out of jail, I was clean. I went to probation, but I wasn't mentally clean. Nobody ever told me that all this money that we're paying you right now, you're gonna have to pay back. We took our daughter to Disney World, both our daughters to Disney World last year. I made it about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And
which was great for him.
You're completely surrounded by people. It's very uncomfortable as being in crowded places. That's one of my big triggers is having people walk up behind me, touch me from places I can't see. It really gets me in a bad spot.
Do you feel like if you had made that trip a few years before, you might not have even made it 90 minutes in there?
He wouldn't have made it through the doors, I don't think.
I wouldn't have made the walk and the boat ride over to get into.
Does that look like progress to you?
It's absolutely progress.
Every time, it seems like every couple years I'll notice where we went to a concert for the first time in ever. We've never been to a concert where it was really crowded, loud music, no exit strategy immediately. He wouldn't have even been able to walk through there years ago. Now, we stayed, 2 hours in the concert, and then we left. He's grown so much. The growth is that he doesn't see, but I see it, is unbelievable.
Last time we saw you was in 2018.
Right.
You're in a very different place, Jon, just based on the time we spent with you then. How would you kind of describe the place you were in then versus the place you find yourself in today?
It was more or less just realizing how to live life normally and how to cope with, I guess, my PTSD and the traumatic brain injury and how they affect my life and things that caused me a lot of problems in the years prior. It was just all learning how to live normal again, Meeting my wife was the biggest thing that got me past all my troubles that were, some self-caused from medicating, and, you can only do that for so long, and it just exacerbates problems, makes everything worse, which nobody knows that going in, you know what I mean? And you're taking what you're supposed to take, and next thing you know, you're addicted to something that you had no intention of ever taking. So,
well, last time we saw you, you were dealing with some back issues. You still have the back pain, or is it gotten better?
Back pain's actually probably worse. My neck's really starting to act up. It's pretty bad. Just moving it back, you can hear it cracking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my lower back pain's still, it still hurts, It's just something you have to deal with. One day we got a phone call when we were driving on I-95. Some lady from, I think it was Ohio or Michigan. St. Paul. No, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Called us and was like, this $101,000, are you gonna work and make any more money than your VA? I was like, no, I can't work. I was like, I'm living totally off my VA disability. She was like, okay, well, wipe the debt out. Just over a phone call.
Over a phone.
Something that took me weeks of being in the building right in front of these people.
And it caused so much distress, and you have a baby, and it was through Christmas. It's all that stuff, and then just one phone call changed everything.
You must have almost crashed on the highway.
We were almost crying.
It was the happiest thing, the weight of $100,000
sitting on you,
taken off in, the flip of a switch. It was amazing.
I assume you just have no idea what behind the scenes led to that decision.
We have no
Absolutely.
idea.
It was somebody my wife probably called, either a senator or a congressman, or somebody reached out, got in touch with those people, and that lady called and took care of our problem.
Where do you stand in terms of getting the recognition for your, earning the Purple Heart you earned? Has that changed at all since we last spoke with you?
No, not at all. I've actually taken 2 trips with my dad and my wife and my kids down to Quantico, Virginia to try to track my old commanding officer down, which was apparently all I needed was to get his sign off saying he was there, he was my commanding officer, this happened on this day, but nothing's ever come from it. And we've taken 2 full trips, making thousands of phone calls, and since then, I didn't know this, but going through court the one day, the metal detector went off and they started waving my knee. So I must still have some shrapnel in my one knee. It's kind of a pride thing, you know what I mean? It's something that you earned, other guys have it, you know what I mean? And it's something you did earn. You spilt your blood for this country. It's like, that's one little thing that should be automatic. It shouldn't be having to fight, I shouldn't have to go and fight for that kind of stuff. Main thing is finding something that makes you happy and living for that. You know what I mean? And
every day.
Making your life about that and focusing on all the good things from that and not living in the past and not worrying about, things that you can't control.
Right.
And, finding somebody who understands and is empathetic to you is the biggest thing, is somebody who, well, it doesn't matter if, you mess up or anything like that, will still sit there and support you is the biggest help. It's a lot of what help is living in the moment you're in, not living in the past and not having that as little as possible affect your now. Because I lost so many years of letting that, cripple me, you know what I mean, from doing anything I wanted to do. I just feel much better about things. I'm much happier. I'm not just miserable all day for no reason, I have things that make me happy every day and things that I want to focus my energy into, So I want to watch them grow.